And we're live. We are live right now for the episode number 2.5. This is a redo of last week's episode with the snake guy. We have here Rodney Reed, the snake guy. Rod, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good, gentlemen. Thank you very much for having me. How are you guys doing?
Awesome. I'm doing great.
Good.
I don't know about Gabe.
Good.
Gabriel, how are you doing?
All right.
Cool.
Good. Thank you guys for the phone call and for getting me on here. This is fun. This is interesting. Hopefully it'll be helpful.
Sure, yeah. So today we're going to talk about snakes. We are here with the snake guy in Austin, Texas. Here we're going to really highlight stories, of interesting people in our community and elsewhere. That's why, we invited Rod, and we have other guests lined up for the following episodes. So please sign up to receive notifications if you're watching this live, or if you're watching the replay as well. Sign up so you can get notified when the new episode comes up. We are very thankful for that. You can share it with your family, friends, co-workers, and all that. So Rod, let's get started right away. How did you get into the snake catching business? I know it's not a business for you, but how did you get into it?
Yeah, sure. No, it's a good question. I get asked that all the time. And about 6 years ago in our neighborhood here in Northwest Austin, we had a rattlesnake situation, and I was totally unaware of any kind of snake situation in our area. It was news to me, and my neighbors called me and asked me if I would come down and help. They were from Northern California and had never seen a big rattlesnake and needed a little help and called me. And at first I was like, no, I'm not going to come down there and help. Are you crazy? And I could hear the tremble in their voice. So basically I went down and helped out, and we got the snake out of the way. It was a little bit of an event, and all the cul-de-sac came out, and kind of made a big to-do about it. And I'll be, 2-3 days later, the phone rings again, and across the cul-de-sac, same cul-de-sac, a neighbor calls, and another rattlesnake. Well, there were about 6 in that cul-de-sac in River Place in about a month's period, maybe 8 even. And they were all big. So I assumed that there was a nest there, but just in that cul-de-sac, I got 6 or 8 phone calls just in the midst of about 3 to 4 weeks. And, every time I showed up to get a snake, the whole cul-de-sac was out there. So I think people were talking about it, and it was a helpful thing. And I think people thought, hey, this guy's a little rougher around the edges. Maybe he'll help us with this if we ever call him. So, they got to talking around the neighborhood in groups, and then one thing led to another. The phone just started ringing. That was 6 years ago. I probably got, I don't know, 15, 20 snakes max the first year. The next thing you know, next year I got like 85 snakes. And
wow.
It's been climbing. Yeah. Now I go and relocate like over 300 snakes a year. It's pretty crazy.
Hey, so tell us a bit about this one here on the photo. You seem to be there. You have no shoes on. Tell us about this.
Okay, so this is in River Place in Austin, Texas. In the back of the photo, you can't see it zoomed in, but the country clubhouse is just up the hill behind me in the photo. And what's happening here is I have gone down into a wet creek bed to get this rattlesnake. There's a new preserve running trail and hiking trail right here. And people had gone into the trail, and these girls called me and said, Mr. Reed, where are you? We're on the hiking trail, and there's this giant rattlesnake over here, and there's kids coming and going and pets coming and going. So I was just probably 5 minutes away, and I raced down there and only had my flip-flops. I didn't have my snake boots, which I had gotten gear to go do all of this to start helping the community. I mean, once I had made a commitment to do this, I was going to do it the right way. But I actually got caught off guard here with no boots and had to go down into the waterbed barefoot because I didn't want to get my leather flip-flops.
But I was going to say, this is another day here.
Hey, look, man, I get caught without my boots quite often, man. I never say no. The thing is, I try to always say yes. I try to always go help. I can hear it in their voices. Some people have a real phobia, man. It's a real problem. There's a real deep down issue with snakes with some people, and they don't bother me a whole lot. I'm not a huge fan of them. I want to do the right thing. I want to help ecology. I want to help the environment. I want to help people and kids and pets and babies and kids and stuff. But the truth is, they're gnarly. I mean, it's a dangerous situation, but I do get caught off. You'll see here, I usually have my boots with me everywhere I go, and I keep them in the truck now. And so anytime I get a call, I just slip them on right when I get to the location and go in and get the snakes. But yeah, man, we have every kind of snake you can think of that Texas has here in Austin. And for some reason, this hill country is just loaded with them.
Good to know. Gabe, go ahead.
All right. So I was reading an article that was written a few years ago, and you were mentioned that you were actually interviewed in it. And you mentioned that you don't claim to be a professional. I wanted to know what difference would there be between what you do and what a professional would do, apart from not wearing shoes or being flip-flops, all that. What difference would there be between what you do and what a professional would do?
Yeah, let me just confirm. I think your question was, you cut out on me just a little bit, but I think the question was, what's the difference between myself and how I do it or what I do and a professional who would come out like a licensed control guy? Okay. And I get that question a lot too. The two biggest differences are I don't charge a fee, right? And most professional services would charge a few $100s to do what I do for free. I do it for the community. This is a pay it forward thing. I have been doing it. This is my 6th year. I take several hundred a year. If this was a business, we'd be rolling in the chips. But the truth of the matter is, the main differences are I don't charge, and I'm not a licensed herpetologist, right? I started reading a whole lot about snakes and learning about them and their behaviors and their movements and their activities and their eating patterns and breeding patterns and how they come in and go out of brumation. And so I started learning enough about them to equip myself enough that I don't get hit or bitten, if you will, in a real life scenario out in the field. But the truth of the matter is, the way that I handle it would be the exact way that a professional would. I go out with gear. I'm very professional. I'm very methodical. I'm conservative in my actions. I'm very safe. I always make sure that no matter what, that I'm the only one in the realm of any kind of danger on the location. So I put everybody, I ask everybody to go inside or step back out of the way, and then try to step in and help out. But another thing is, I try to make it a personal relationship. The truth of the matter is, this is my community. I live here. These are my people. I would hope that if I needed to reach out and ring the bell for a beckoning help call, that someone would come. And I'm trying to be that guy for our community. There's really nothing more than just truthfully that right there. I don't do it for the win of the money. I don't do it for better my resume or better my education in the herpetology field. I do it just so we can keep these kiddos and these pets safe and sound. The techniques, like I say, they're the same. We I use the same gear that the pros use. It's probably a little nicer walking off of property and just saying goodbye and shaking a hand versus handing somebody an invoice and waiting for them to go in and write a check. I find that what I'm doing for the community not only is helping the community, it helps me too. I've made so many relationships and so many networking capabilities out of this activity that, I couldn't have dreamed of it.
That's interesting, Rod, because you're taking an inconvenience for some, and you're not charging to fix that inconvenience, but you're turning it around and make relationships, get to know people. I think that's a great opportunity. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs can't do that today, right? See a need, see a void, fix it. Don't charge for it, but then on the other side of that, you got relationships, people you're meeting, and they can refer you business.
That's right. And it happens all the time. It wasn't intended, and it's not my angle, but out of organic relationships, it happens.
That's amazing. So to finish it up, since you want to help the community, Rod, what tips can you give people if they encounter a snake or if they get bitten by a snake? What should they do? I mean, I will benefit a lot from this because I live in Texas now. Mm-hmm. I have one encounter with a snake, and I called you. I remember I told you what kind of snake it was, and I panicked, but it was a rat snake. It wasn't anything dangerous. So
Yeah.
what should chickens like me do if they find a snake or if they get bitten by one?
Yeah. Well, first of all, just, don't walk on eggshells. We live in God's country here, and there's a million places around the country I love, but Texas is really special to me, and the hill country is even more special. So if you see a snake, first of all, familiarize yourself with snakes. Go by the local HEB or the local market. At every counter, every checkout stand, they've got a Texas native reptile brochure. Familiarize yourself with the 4 that we have here in Texas that are venomous. That's the copperhead, the moccasin, the coral snake, and the western diamondback. And copperhead, moccasin, coral, and western diamondback, if you will memorize those and get the visual of those snakes in your head, color, pattern, movement, you'll be 90% better than the next person. And in nature, when you're out there, some things that you can do is just constantly be aware of where you're stepping. More frequently than not, people tell me, "Hey, Rod, I've lived in the neighborhood for 20 years and I've never seen a snake." And I say, "Look, I'm not going to argue that with you. I believe you. You've walked by 100 of them. You just haven't seen them." Okay. And so if you will just keep your eyes open and keep your head down and up at the same time, and not be paranoid, but be aware, that's the biggest thing you can do. I think that if you see a snake and you keep calm and you back away from it, give it time to go where it's going to go, or turn around and go the other direction or move around it, you're going to be fine. That snake does not want to be seen. It certainly doesn't want to be seen by somebody, thousands of
Now, are you sure? Are you sure if I don't look for it, if I ignore it, I won't see it? It won't come.
Yeah, that's not going to help you. Not here anyway. If you ignore it, it's still going to be there.
Okay.
One of the things that I get asked most frequently is, "Hey, Rod, what do I do if I'm, out here in River Place or Steiner Ranch or Lakeway and I get bit? I'm so far away from downtown. What do I do?" And the truth is, there's hospitals all around every region or every kind of area of Austin has a hospital that can help out in this situation. For instance, Brackenridge downtown Austin has anti-venom. Lakeway Regional has anti-venom. Cedar Park Medical Center has anti-venom. So the thing to do would be, you get bit. It's an oh crud moment for sure. Try to stay calm. Either get somebody to drive you, or you get in your car and calmly drive to one of those locations. But first, turn your hazards on, and as soon as you start your car, call 911 and let them know who you are, the type of car you're driving, where you're going, and that you are requesting an escort. So, this is Rodney Reed. I'm in a silver Chevrolet Silverado. I'm on 2222. My hazards are on and I need an escort. Please contact the medical facility and tell them to be in a wait of a snake bite. And they'll have the snake bite kits and the anti-venom ready to mix and have the protocol a lot more expeditiously ready for when you get there.
Awesome. That's great. I really appreciate that, because I think the most dangerous thing besides the snake, it's not knowing, right? Not knowing what to do, being in ignorance, thinking that all snakes are dangerous and that they are all going to harm you. Obviously, getting educated is a great tool. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So Rod, we appreciate your time today. Our coffee break is near over now. I hope you have a great week ahead of you. And thank you. Thank you, Gabe.
You. I appreciate it, guys. I'm really happy to help out. Thank you guys for hosting and having me on. I hope you guys have a great afternoon.
All right.
Thank you too. So see you, all of you that are connected here. See you on the next episode of The Late Grind, brought to you by Bard Media, commissioned by Speak Right. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of your week as well.